Good evening. I hereby call to order the action session of the Board of School Commissioners for Thursday, November 17th. The colors will be posted this evening by the color guard from Arsenal Technical High School. JROTC battalion members posting colors are Cadet Captain Sidney Jackson, Cadet Captain Shelby Searcy, Cadet Corporal Janessa Neaton, Cadet Corporal Joseph Parr, Cadet Captain Elwin Martinez. Cadet Captain Marcus Tinner will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise for the presentation of colors.
Detail. Oh. Left. Face. Present. Arm. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arm. Outward. Face. Forward. March. Detail. Out. Order. Out. Out. Present. Arm. Order. Arm. Inward. Face. Forward. Arch. Detail. Out. Outward. Face. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you to the JROTC battalion from Arsenal Technical High School. Mr. Mulholland, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Arnold,
Here.
Commissioner Bentley,
Here.
Commissioner Cosby,
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Here.
Commissioner Odle, President Sullivan.
Here. Thank you, Mr. Mulholland. We will now adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting. At Monday's agenda review session, there was a request for a review of the Pathways to Innovation status. The administration is prepared to present previously shared details about innovation schools and IPS. In order to add this to the agenda, I need a motion to present this informational update during superintendent's reports prior to reviewing the innovation school items on the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a motion to insert this update into section 6?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is so modified. Reviewing the proposed agenda, are there any requests for changes to the agenda as presented? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is adopted. We will now proceed to section 2 of the agenda. Tonight's student musicians join us from Broad Ripple Magnet High School for the Arts and Humanities. Please welcome Emma Fisher, Harley Bundy, and Mitchell Payne. The trio will be playing a piece called Pavan by Ravel.
I'm Emma Fisher. This is Harley Bundy. I'm their company. We
Thank you, students. Moving to section 3, our opening comments. Does any commissioner wish to offer comments at this time? Okay, thank you. So we'll now move on to section 3.02. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Bentley, I think you do have some comments.
Am I doing it now or at the end? It's now?
I think we should do that now. Yes, that'd be good.
I'm going to read a memoriam for Yvonne Perkins. Indianapolis Public Schools lost a good friend on November 10th with the passing of Yvonne Perkins. While it is usually our practice to memorialize the passing of employees, Ms. Perkins' years-long efforts in improving IPS academically and through improved facilities has earned our respect and our admiration. Ms. Perkins worked for 46 years at Citizens Energy Group, most recently as the Vice President of Corporate Communications and Chief Diversity Officer. She was also a certified public accountant who owned her own accounting firm. Ms. Perkins attended Francis W. Parker School 56 and Shortridge High School. She was deeply grateful to the IPS teachers who taught her and helped to shape her character. It was her devotion to IPS that led her to serve on the IPS Education Foundation, where she held roles including treasurer, vice president, and president. As a foundation board member from 1999 to 2009, Ms. Perkins ensured that teachers received support through classroom grants. She also worked on the committee that created the first Alumni Hall of Fame program, helping to select inductees and develop a luncheon to celebrate them. She worked on this committee throughout her service to the foundation board. Along with her volunteer efforts, Ms. Perkins ensured the ongoing financial support of Citizens Energy Group to help fund the event. From 2002 to 2003, Ms. Perkins served on the IPS Facilities Strategic Task Force, helping IPS staff determine how to rebuild or upgrade schools across the district in a cost-efficient manner. Ms. Perkins received numerous awards from a variety of organizations, but the one she cherished the most was her own induction into the IPS Hall of Fame in 2011. Her love for IPS ran deep and never wavered. IPS is pleased to be working with Citizens Gas to create a scholarship in Ms. Perkins' name. Our hope is for future generations to get to know what a wonderful woman she was and to encourage them to meet the high bar of service to the district post-graduation that she set. Thank you. And I would like to thank former employee, IPS employee Mary Louise Bewley for bringing it to our attention that Ms. Perkins passed away. And I think we all share in her support for how much she did for this district.
Thank you, Commissioner Bentley. We will now receive comment from those who have signed up to offer comments to the board this evening. I will remind our speakers that you are allowed 3 minutes to speak. Our board administrator will begin a timer when you begin, and I ask that you briefly conclude your remarks when you hear the timer go off. Comments should be directed to the board collectively, should be respectful, and should not address a topic that might be of a confidential nature or that would compromise the impartiality of the board. I now call Christina Smith to the podium. Is she here? Is Larry Vaughn present? Marianne Schlegel-Ruger?
Good evening. A month ago, I spoke to you briefly, and I hope that maybe you might have remembered what I said that night. It was such a good evening to watch things here, and great things were happening. I reminded you to test everything, hold fast only what is good. And that was a really happy night that night. Tonight's not such a happy night because it's become, the ISTEP scores were released today. And I'm sure that probably as the district and as schools, I'm assuming that you had access to at least preliminary numbers for the past several weeks or months. No. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, so a surprise to you too. I stand corrected. But of course, today was the first that I saw them. I was actually on 3 red-eye flights last night, so I've just barely looked at them and haven't been able to dig into them too much. PLA failing at 103 stood out starkly to me. It shocked me. I want to talk about that briefly. As we all know, they're under a 5-year contract. As we also know, the public has recently been reassured that the Innovation Network schools are 100% accountable to the IPS board and to IPS. The school was put into Innovation Network status and was contracted over to fail on a 5-year contract on the basis of past ISTEP scores. Those scores were, I think the most recent pass rate was 9.6% of students, which was abysmal. It was terrible. And as you probably know, the new ISTEP pass rate is like 5.3. It's even more abysmal. In the meantime, a lot of money has been put into the school. A lot of attention, I'm sure, has been in the school. I'm sure it's been on the top of your radar. And I'm also positive that all of you are genuinely concerned for all of those students in that community. This is obviously not working. And what I would ask you, since I found that you've just learned of it today, is would you please make it your top priority to find out what has happened there? Why is it not working? Is it massive teacher turnover? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Is it because they lost one of their Mind Trust fellows just before the school opened, and he was actually removed from the Phelan board, not resigned, he was removed from the board just before school started? Is it because of that change? Is it because they have a principal who came from a failing charter school that was closed by the state? Perhaps she's an excellent principal. Maybe she should be there. I don't know. I see a lot of red flags. I also see a 5-year contract whereby the second year they were to have 10% improvement in ISTEP rates. They now seem to have I don't know, is that a 50% decrease? I'm not even sure how to calculate that, but it quite definitely is not an increase at all. My guess is maybe, does that mean that 5 students passed ISTEP? Something's not happening right. The Mind Trust took people on a tour last Wednesday showing Phelan is a high-performing school. So please find the answers or cancel the contract and find someone to run it.
Thank you. Irma Lauderdale. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Good evening. My name is Irma Lauderdale. For the past 20 years, I have been a parent advocate for the Title I program. For those of you who don't know what the Title I program is, the Title I program is the largest federal funded program in the nation created to help low-income and disadvantaged families and children. It has been an honor to work in that capacity. Last month, I had the excellent opportunity to hear your superintendent speak at the State Board of Education's meeting. And I am here tonight because I was so amazed at the vision that he had for the Indianapolis Public Schools. I have never had an opportunity to come before this board and speak to you. Often, people look at you and they have no idea of some of the things that you have to go through with the parents and along with our children. Also, when I came last month, I didn't get an opportunity to speak because I didn't know the procedures of your house. But I had an opportunity of meeting your school board president, who made me feel at home and welcome and invited me back. I had brought books so that I could kind of let you know in 2007, next year to be 10 years, I brought one of the largest parent conferences to the state of Indiana. We held it in Northwest Indiana. At that time, Dr. Kwajankowski was over the Title I program. For the first time ever, we had 1,500 parents educators, along with Title I directors that attended that program. It was an awesome program because we had a chance to share thoughts and ideas, not just from our home, but throughout our state. I'm hoping that in 2017, not only will we bring the state of Indiana in 5 states appearance, I'm hoping that we will bring the national in all 50 states appearance. I'm saying this because I believe the IPS is on board. Parents, we must realize that you guys need our help, and that without our help, a decision is going to be made. So we need to step up to the plate, come to the table, assist you guys, and show you that we are a part of our children's education, and we enjoy being a part of it with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Naquisha Peterson.
Good evening. Before I start, I would like to give all of you just a bit overall of who I am. My name is Naquisha Peterson. I have 3 children. I have a 3rd grader, a 1st grader, and a preschool student. All 3 are students at Arlington Woods School 99. On Thursday, November 10th, I went to the school to pick up my children like I do every day. I dropped them off at school and I picked them up every day because with my preschooler, she can't ride the bus. So I went to the school to pick up my 3rd grader, and he was nowhere to be found. I could not find him. So I was searching around the school building, looking everywhere I knew he was supposed to be, and he was not there. So obviously I'm a mom, and I was very nervous. I was very upset because I could not find my child. So a few minutes after I had been looking, about 15, 20 minutes or so, I had went to the preschool classroom because they had told me he was up in the 6th grade classroom, but he wasn't there. So I went searching everywhere. I started in the preschool classroom after I searched where they said he was, and he wasn't there. So when I went to the preschool classroom, he was sitting there with the teacher in her classroom behind her desk on a tablet. He had been there since 9:30 that morning. When he was dismissed from his classroom because his teacher left early, no one led the children to where they were supposed to go. Neither no one checked up on them to be sure that the children were actually where they were supposed to go. He informed me that they told him to go there. He had no curriculum-based work all day. He was sitting there on the tablet behind the teacher's desk playing games on the computer. So this is at 3:45 in the afternoon. So he wasted a whole day of education. I was very upset, needless to say. I went to the office to speak with the principal because she's the head of everything. So I felt like speaking with the principal, I would get some respect from her, and it's not like going through everyone else where you could possibly get attitude. So I wanted to speak with the principal because I was upset. So when I spoke with the principal on Friday morning, because we only have 3 minutes, when I spoke with the principal on Friday morning, she accused me of stalking her. I didn't understand why she was accusing me of stalking her because I had only reached out to her that morning and then the afternoon before, which was Thursday, when he was actually missing and I couldn't find him. So after I spoke with her and I told her that I was not stalking her, I just wanted to be sure that this protocol was fixed, because if he was in a preschool classroom for the entire day, he could have easily been walked out of the school in one of those back doors for the entire day because nobody was following up on the children. Monday morning, I went to the school to go to the Awesome Moms meeting because we have an Awesome Moms meeting once a month, every month. I went to attend the meeting, and per me and the principal's conversation on Friday, there was an officer there that served me with forms to state that I could not be on the premises at the school. So I just really need for you guys to check into this and see how can we fix this, because I do take my children to school every day, and I was not threatening or anything for her to get me off of campus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson, for sharing that with us. We will have a staff person connect with you this evening to follow up on the concern that you raised.
Thank you to all of our speakers. Having received comments from the board and the public, we will now proceed to the consent agenda. The items included on the consent agenda were reviewed at our agenda review session on Monday and reflect all necessary modifications. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. We're now moving to Section 5, Board Reports. Following the resignation of Commissioner Eccles, there is now a vacancy in District 5 seat. By law, the board is required to fill this vacancy by appointment within 30 days. The board will accept resumes and letters of interest from those interested in being considered for appointment until Friday, December 2nd at 5 p.m. In order to qualify for consideration, you must currently live in District 5 and must have resided with the IPS district for at least 1 year. Information about the process and timeline is available on the school board page on the IPS website. I will now turn the agenda over to Dr. Farabee.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you, Madam President. In Section 6, we have 4 staff reports. The first staff report is item 6.01. It is information on the proposed agreement with the partnership with Purdue University. It's related to the Gear Up initiative. You have materials in your documents related to item 6.01. We also have representation from Purdue University that can speak to specifics. Any questions on this item? The next item is 6.02, which is a Edison School for the Arts Innovation Planning update. And item 6.03 is a innovation proposal follow-up presentation for Ignite Academy. And then also item 6.04 is also a follow-up presentation for Innovation School in partnership with Avondale Meadows Academy for Avondale Meadows Middle School. As outlined in the amended agenda, we will have Alicia Johnson, our innovation officer, provide an overview of our innovation strategy to frame the presentations to follow for items 6.02, 6.03, and 6.04.
Good evening, Commissioners. Might not be the correct deck. I believe Joe loaded it up. Let's see if that's it. Here we go. Perfect. So before the presentations came before you, we just wanted to ensure that we regrounded in the why of our work, the purpose of the work, and what the administration has been charged to execute on from this board. So what's really driving the work that we're doing comes from the core commitments and belief that's a part of the 2015 IPS strategic plan. And specifically, 3 of those core commitments and beliefs are specifically connected to the work around innovation and autonomy that we're doing. The first, and the anchor for everything that we're doing, is that all IPS schools must be great places to teach and great places to learn. The second, and certainly directly related to the framework that we've already developed, is that effective teachers and great schools are the key to student success. And finally, the charge that we have is the sole job of the central office and central administration is to support the work of our teachers, of our schools, and to perform at a very high level. In addition to the core commitments and beliefs that the board developed, we also have specific benchmarks that are a part of our strategic plan, specifically to establish a district portfolio of autonomous schools, to develop and implement an autonomous schools framework, which will allow for greater flexibility, which we've now accomplished, and to expand the Innovation Network schools to provide a wider range of options for our families, which we continue to work on as well, and we'll hear more about tonight. Additionally, we're operating from a theory of change that says we cannot, as a district, operate in a one-size-fits-all model. and that as we move the decision-making authority from a central office to our schools, we will see a positive impact on student outcomes. We know that that's not a quick fix. We know that that's not an instant right sizing that will happen, but we do believe when the people who are most connected and closest to our students and families have the ability to make decisions, then that will positively impact the experience our students have. And finally, before our prospective partners present, wanted to make sure we're all clear on the pathways to innovation. There are 4. The first is a charter school that wants to contract with the district and become an innovation charter school that be initiated by a charter partner. The second is a conversion, which is when an existing district school's leadership team and staff sort of raise their hands and say, we believe we are ready to take on this new level of decision-making authority, and then appeal to the district leadership team as well as the board to have that granted to them. The third is a restart, in which we look at our schools that are not performing well and have struggled over time, and we make the decision as a district leadership team and as a board to restart those schools with a partner. And then the third is just a new school, so a school that has not previously existed that launches as an innovation school. So those are the 4 pathways to becoming an innovation school. You'll hear from 3 partners, Edison School of the Arts, which would be pursuing the conversion pathway as an existing school. You'll hear from Ignite Academy. Their leadership team is actually open to multiple pathways, so there won't be a specific one they'll speak to tonight. And then thirdly, Avondale Meadows Middle School, which would be a charter innovation school partnership. So, happy to answer any questions before we hear from those partners.
Thank you, Alicia, for framing the types of schools and our strategy. At this time, we'll invite Principal Nathan Tuttle to come forward. If there's any public comment on this item, Madam President, we can entertain the comments at this time.
Yes, please. We have Candace Kingman, who is signed up to speak.
Good evening. I'm Candace Kingma. I'm the PTO president and parent of a 4th grade student at Edison School of the Arts. After Mr. Tuttle told me that he was looking into innovation schools, I did some research on my own. As I researched successful innovation schools, I saw a common thread. The successful schools all had strong teachers, staff, and administrators. As president of the Edison School PTO and the parent of a student who has been with the school for 5 years, through many, many changes, as you're all aware, I support the move to an Innovation Network school. 100% of our highly qualified teachers have agreed to the move. Amy Burns, our vice principal, would become our director of curriculum and instruction, the key position at any innovation school. Mrs. Burns has a bachelor's of social work, a master's in special education, has served as a district coach and the district curriculum writer. She couldn't be any more qualified to guide our teachers through the curriculum process necessary for an innovation school. Nathan Tuttle, our principal and potential head of school, has more than proven himself as an administrator at our school through the large move we made last year in the rebuilding of the building and the grounds, and also improving our test scores. The board Mr. Tuttle is proposing will bring professionalism, connections, and partnerships to Edison. Mrs. Guthrie will be given the time and freedom to seek grants, connections, and partnerships in the Indianapolis area as well as the arts community. I've stood here before you several times to profess my belief that an arts education can enhance and improve a child's overall learning. It's also my belief that a move to an innovation school will greatly enhance our arts programming. Our teachers will receive more focused arts professional development, and our students will naturally receive more arts integration and more exposure to the arts through our partnerships. Again, as a very active parent with a vested interest in the success of our school, I fully support the proposed change to an Innovation Network school. Thank you.
Thank you. Bernita McGraw.
Good evening. I would like to thank you for this opportunity. My name is Bernita McGraw. I am a middle school math teacher at Edison School of the Arts. Prior to accepting my position at Edison School of the Arts, I worked at a middle school as a middle school math teacher for Tinley Prep. I enjoyed working for Tinley Prep. I had the flexibility to plan and map my curriculum and that would best fit all of my students. And among my peers in my administration, I was known for my ability to cultivate growth and a growth mindset, and motivate my students to achieve. We had a goal of 80% pass rate on ISTEP. We had a 79.5% pass rate on ISTEP for math, which I was over. So when I say we were always working towards our goals, I have continued this work as I have joined IPS, the IPS team. And today I would like to share my excitement about the possibility of being part of an innovation school. As a former charter school teacher, I can attest to the benefits of the freedom in regards to curriculum. In my classroom, I had the ability to have a true assessment-driven instruction because I was able to develop plans and map out the curriculum. I was involved on every single level. Thus, I felt an ownership and a pride for my classroom and its lessons and its data. As a math teacher, and with my math team now, we are currently exploring the curriculum for next year if we are an innovation school. I am excited about the opportunity and the freedom of choice. We will also be looking at different math professional development opportunities that focus on our current academic needs. As a child, I was extremely involved in the arts. And prior to becoming involved in the arts, I was not interested in school. So that was one of the driving forces that brought me to Edison School of the Arts. I wanted to be involved in a school that pushed the arts and that would get students involved and create a love and develop a love for learning as I did. This is, among many reasons, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to join the Edison School. I wanted to be a part of an art-infused environment. I love working with the arts team and creating an environment where both the academics and the arts are a priority. Which leads me to my last point. I'm looking forward to being trained on how to integrate the arts into my classroom. Currently, I have implemented all kinds of chants and activities in my classroom. But I think once we go innovation, I'll have the professional development and the opportunities to increase that even more. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Galima.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting me have the opportunity to speak about my school. My name is Kathy Galima, and I'm a second grade teacher at Edison School of the Arts, and I love my school. And I am here in support of being an innovation school. I have been an IPS employee for 33 years, and yes, I've seen lots of changes. And I'm up for this change as well. I want to encourage change for the purpose of meeting all of our students' needs. Being an innovation school would allow great opportunities for us. First, Edison is a magnet school, so our staff could request and seek more professional development dealing with the arts. This would be huge for all of our teachers, but especially the general education teachers, so that we could support our art teachers a little bit more. Being able to decide our own professional development in that area would be awesome. We would be able to customize unique opportunities for our children that would be valuable to our school only. Secondly, being an innovation school would also offer curricular flexibility. Our leaders could decide how to best make the curriculum work for our school to benefit our children. We would be allotted more freedom than the current pacing guide allows, which would give us more opportunity to delve into the arts and have more arts integration into our classroom. The time requirements, we could adjust the time requirements as well to allow for more of arts. We desire to research and to select our own educational materials. This current school year, our coaches, who are wonderful, have been arranging and setting up professional development for us. This has made learning tailored to what our teachers would like to have in our building. Our staff is excited about all of the possibilities of having a new curriculum and being ready for the children as they arrive day one. Personally, I like the thought of being an innovation school. And given the flexibility and having some of the restraints lifted from us, even with restraints removed, I know that I am still 100% accountable for my instruction. Mr. Tuttle and Mrs. Burns are awesome assets to our school who work to ensure that we all meet and are successful. They hold all staff to a high accountability and expect everyone to be proactive for the students and the parents. They are very prepared for each day, and they expect us to be as well. I respect their professional and their educational personalities, and I know that they will continue to lead us in the right direction. So I'm encouraged by all this, I'm excited by this, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Scared to death of that bell.
Welcome, Mr.
I
Tuttle.
know, thank you.
You have a little bit more than 3 minutes.
All right. So I am Nathan Tuttle. I am the principal of Edison School of the Arts. Very proud of my staff tonight and our parents. So for a great presentation. So here we go. Let's see if we're doing this. There we go. So we are embarking on innovation and looking at this. We are still very much in the planning stages. So this is more of an update in information. The overview right now, this is the rationale for why we want to go innovation, the impact on student experience, and our current and future community engagement. So the rationale for innovation right now, and what you were hearing from our teachers, is we have 3 very strong points that we are really thrilled about. One is that curricular and financial flexibility. So we will be able to choose, the teachers will be able to just sit in and listen to all the presentations from different curriculum companies and different things, and we can tailor everything to our student body as it stands right now. Especially now that ISTEP data has come back and we can look at those scores and we can react immediately. We would also, as the arts magnet, and I do believe an arts magnet second to none right now in the state of Indiana. Our facility is fantastic, and our arts teachers are fantastic, and our academic teachers are fantastic. But we do not implement full arts integration in the academic classroom as it stands right now because there's not a lot of funding to train all of our academic teachers in arts integration. And so another huge benefit of going innovation would allow some flexibility to where we can train all of our academic teachers in and maintain their professional development in arts integration. So students, the main change students are going to see is just more and more engagement in their classrooms. And so, as I've spoken to some of these, so we are looking at maximized arts integration leading to increased engagement in the academic classroom, expanded opportunities through growing community partnerships, continuing to operate at the district visual and performing arts as the district visual and performing arts magnet, and consistency of our staff. We expect 100% of our staff will reapply. We haven't had any dissent in our building. They really enjoy what we're doing. And we were able to bring 90% of our families from the 46th and Central location down to a downtown location where many of our staff and our students are, some of them are experiencing maybe a little bit longer bus ride, and our staff are experiencing a longer drive, and we're still loving it. And we're sending out intent forms now, and we have yet to receive a no, I'm not returning. So we're really excited about that. So our current community engagement, we've had 2 parent meetings so far, and there were some great questions asked there, and everybody left at 100% satisfaction. And quoting one parent, she was able to say, you know, how do you feel about this? And she said, well, it sounds like everything's just going to get even better. Like, why would I say no? And I also feel, it's not a feeling, but I have also maintained a sense of full transparency with my staff and our parents thus far. And so I always welcome any questions from our staff and parents. And they always get answered within a very timely fashion. So I think our families, as they have seen us move, trust our decisions so far, because I was very transparent with them on the move, and they're enjoying what we have going on there. We have already begun to seek out board members, our volunteer board members, and so we are looking at a gentleman named Henry Leck, the Artistic Founding Director of Indianapolis Children's Choir, Ernest Disney Britton, who is the grant director for the Indianapolis Arts Council, and a small business owner of Family Works are looking at being on our board in addition to other opportunities for other folks. So we are excited about our board selection so far. We have very, very strong candidates. And our family surveys we will be sending out later on this month. We're trying to get some feedback from other Innovation Network schools as to what we might ask, how they worded their questions. As anyone who deals with the community and families, you want to be short. You want to get the most responses you can get to collect the data and make the best decisions possible. So we've had we've had 2 meetings so far. We plan to continue as we get our survey results back. We will have monthly meetings in December, January, and February. And then we're going to we're sending out a survey this month, and then we will send out another survey in January. We're going to have a family meeting in March to give a final, what we consider a final report. Again, we're kind of embarking on the unknown as far as timelines, so we're throwing out some guessing timelines there. So we're assuming March would be a final decision. And we are going to continue our board development. That's it. Any questions?
Commissioner O'Connor?
The family survey in November and family survey in January, why are you doing 2 so close?
We're just assuming we would need to do more than 1. Okay. So we assume we'll get some feedback back that may not, it may be, in the other box, and so we're just assuming we will need to do more than 1. Yeah.
Commissioner Arnold?
If everything goes the way you plan, would the Innovation School open in August or the next school year? Is that your plan?
That's the intention, yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cosby?
What is the name of the organization that is going to be running the school? Like you're forming the board for at this point. What is the organization?
Edison School of the Arts.
Is it a nonprofit organization, or how is that?
We will still be an IPS school, tethered to IPS, but we will have a smaller board made up of 7 members governing me and our team. But we still answer to IPS.
Right, and so the organization though is called Edison School for the Arts?
Edison School of the Arts.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Bentley?
Just to clarify, though, it'll be a separate 501c3, not for profit.
Yes,
correct?
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
That's what I thought. Okay.
I don't know what letters come after. So Edison School of the Arts, something. Yeah. But we'll still have my IPS written on our shirts.
Commissioner Arnold.
I would just like to say how happy I am that the Edison School for Performing Arts has moved to my district in the South Side. We need many more great magnets, and a lot of children on the West Side and South Side are now able to attend the school, some related to me. So
Thank you.
very glad to see you there and to see moving forward with this.
Thank you. We have been thrilled. We couldn't be happier.
And I'm sorry, I just have a quick request. Make sure we get invited to whatever your next big performances are, because I so enjoyed the performance at the beginning of the school year, and so make sure that the board gets those invitations.
Thank you. We keep tweeting out, sending our videos.
Thank you, Nathan, for proactively thinking through your community engagement. We have significant expectations around how communities engage through this process.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you,
luck.
sir.
Thank you.
The next presentation will come from the Ignite Academy team. I'm not sure if there's any public commenters on this particular topic. We welcome back Shy and Brooke.
Good evening, Madam President, Commissioners, Superintendent Farabee. Thank you for having us back. We're going to hit some highlights and drill down deeper into our academic model. Again, thank you for your time this evening. I'm Shaquan Eli, my partner, Brooke Beavers.
We're the co-heads and founders of Ignite Achievement Academy. Thank you for having us back.
All right. So the vision of Ignite Achievement Academy is to engage, enhance, and elevate our community by unleashing the genius in each child, accelerating learning, igniting passions for lifelong learning and achievement. We want to develop the community's leaders, thinkers, doers, entrepreneurs, and solution finders of the world's and community's most complex issues. The way that we're going to do that is through creating a network of schools, network of institutions that accelerate the whole child, through creating holistic learning environments that are built and based upon the most current research in neuroscience, brain-compatible teaching and learning, whole brain learning, et cetera. We know ultimately that this will result in enrichment for our scholars, preparing them for opportunities for deeper and deeper impact. I want to also spend a moment just talking about why we have chosen to do our school the way that we've chosen to do it. You're no strangers to what many of our children are overcoming, be it institutional, systemic racism, or programmatic challenges, poverty, generational poverty, violence in the community, et cetera, hunger. And so what we have learned is that these are circumstances that our kids are coming to school with every single day, so it has become a chronic issue for them. This creates chronic stress. If I had to compile everything that I've learned so far about neuroscience, I could drill it down into one main adage or piece of information, which says that the stressed brain cannot learn properly. And we're losing that learning potential when we have chronically stressed human beings. Now, why neuroscience? With that emphasis, imagine a teacher-student combination, and you have a young man, let's call him Shy, you have a teacher, let's call her Mrs. Beavers. And Shy gets to school, he's hungry, he didn't eat last night, he didn't have breakfast this morning, and so his disposition shows that. Maybe Mrs. Beavers doesn't know that. And so his behavior to her may look like misbehavior or defiance or insubordination. But what the data show, what the neuroscience is telling us, is that there are environments that we can intentionally create. There are practices, there are procedures that will actually turn a stressed brain, which is only in a reactionary mode of fight, flight, or freeze, or survival mode. We can swap that, and now we can create environments that will promote learning, encourage learning. And so that's why we built our model on the most current research in neuroscience.
I want to touch on human capital. We know that in order to lead a successful school, it is all about the people doing the work. For the past 2 years, we were successful school leaders. We were the only school leaders in our former network to double our enrollment. In 2015, we had the third highest ELA pass rates on the ISTEP, surpassing the state average. For the last 2 years, we had approaching 90% on the iRead 3 assessment. And for the last 2 years, 80% or more of our grade levels exceeded growth targets on the NWEA reading and math assessments. We know how to do the work because we've done it. Human capital is essential, and it is imperative that we hire teachers and staff members that mirror the diverse community in which we serve. And so when we go to hire our staff, we are looking at 5 key traits. The first is, are our teachers aligned with our educational philosophy? Shai and I are co-leaders. We believe in the notion that there is no one leader in a school, but that a school is made up of many leaders and we all work together. So collaboration, growth mindset, and the notion that all kids can learn is key. The second trait is an aligned instructional philosophy. We have to hire a staff that is willing to apply feedback, willing to grow as an educator, and is open to trying these new and innovative practices that my partner spoke upon. Having teachers that are culturally competent. Our teachers have to consider and apply multiple perspectives to their teaching, and they must research and be versed in the demographic in which we are serving. Being proficient in data. So we are willing to train our teachers so that they learn to analyze and apply data to drive instruction to grow all scholars, not just the bottom tier, but all scholars. And last but not least, make sure that all of our teachers and staff are invested in the community, because if we do not have 100% buy-in from all stakeholders, we cannot do the work that we are posing to do. So how we groom up our team is essential. We intend to have professional development once a week where there is an early release. In addition, we intend to have a 3-week summer training. During this time, we teach our teachers how to unpack standards, and we teach them how to navigate our accelerated scope and sequence. They learn to develop engaging lessons, and we teach them to differentiate for a variety of learning modalities, because we know that not all children learn the same. We teach our teachers how to backward plan and how to create strong, rigorous assessments, analyze the data in their weekly professional development, and create action plans that are followed up, and we hold our teachers accountable. We are currently working with leaders in urban education, such as Augusta Mann and Gary Holland, to incorporate culturally relevant techniques into our instruction. And we are training our teachers to consider equity and diversity in their planning and instruction.
So PD is one of my favorite parts of our model, because the human resource is our most important resource. And so not only will they be developed, the PD stands for professional development, sure, but it also stands for personal development. And we have a commitment to the fulfillment and enrichment of our staff as well. So some of the creative elements of what we're doing with respect to leadership development, we want to scale. So we have that in mind from the very beginning. And as a result, we want to be able to build pipelines from within our school for leadership development as we continue to scale. And so one of the creative things that I'm most excited about is a partnership that we have with the John Maxwell team. He's a leadership guru, and other neuroscientists and researchers that are, again, world-renowned, like Dr. Judy Willis and Dr. Wynn Winger, and they are helping to create professional developments throughout the course of our year, even on-site, and I'm also receiving a certification in that leadership development, access to all that curriculum to help develop our teachers and our staff beyond their profession, but with their person. And that's it.
Okay, so now I'll briefly go over our staffing plan. So in the 2017 launch, we intend to have 2 co-heads of school, that's Shai and I, and we are serving as CEOs in addition to building leaders. For the last 2 years, we have served as co-building leaders. We don't recommend this for everyone, but it works well for us. A discipline dean, a director of SPED and compliance that would also serve as the teacher of record until we did scale. A director of assessment, and when he or she is not assessing, they would serve as an instructional coach. A literacy lab teacher and a math lab teacher to remediate and work with our lowest performing scholars. A business manager, a front office receptionist, an ESL teacher if our population is applicable. 4 lead teachers to oversee the other teachers and to take on additional leadership roles, because as Shai mentioned, it is our goal to eventually scale. 8 gen ed teachers, 3 elective teachers to teach the electives art, physical education, and music, and 3 instructional assistants. If you look at the following years, there is a typo in our PowerPoint, and I apologize. The instructional assistants in lines 2 and 4 should not be there. And I do want to say that we do have the 3 instructional assistants. However, if need be, depending on our SPED and ESL populations, we may need to increase that number. So, as mentioned in our last presentation, we briefly touched on our 4 pillars. The first pillar of our school is acceleration. We are currently working with consultants to create an accelerated scope and sequence that is based on Indiana and Common Core state standards. In addition to this scope and sequence that we would follow, there are aligned interim benchmark assessments that scholars will take so that we can assess the fidelity of our curriculum. Ongoing data analysis, as mentioned before, once a week, we would have an early dismissal in which we would analyze data. Built-in scaffolds to support our lowest performing scholars, because we know that not all scholars come in on grade level. However, because we are an accelerated model, we hold the bar high for all of our scholars. And the personalized learning component through small group and self-directed learning modules.
So one of the questions that we've asked, and very intentionally done so, are what are the habits of the world's successful people, leaders, thinkers, and achievers? And so we know that our end goal is to rear up and prepare our scholars to be those people, to become those people, those successors. And they're going to inherit a lot of challenges that we've left them. And so they need to be able to think through those. And so this is one of the foundations of what we're proposing to do, is habits of success. What are those customs, those practices, those mannerisms, thought patterns that the successful possess, and how can we teach that on a day-to-day basis? Mindfulness will help us certainly, so that they can learn how to self-regulate, deal with emotion, and be more proactive and thoughtful as opposed to reactionary. And then the entire program that we have, from curriculum to our program partners, this is all cross-programmatic. So we will always have that component of character development and personal growth, and it may come through the curriculum, or it may come through the martial arts program. But we'll intentionally teach our teachers to constantly do personal growth and character development as they instruct.
Our third pillar is based on enrichment, and the first component is project-based learning. We intend to teach science through the project-based learning model. We believe that project-based learning promotes critical thinking, communication, and collaboration, but most importantly, it exposes our scholars to their surrounding community and allows us to have relationships with community partners. We are choosing to incorporate the historic journey curriculum into our social studies component, because we believe that a non-Eurocentric perspective is essential so that our children of color know that history is much more than slavery and the civil rights movement. Academic rhyming, as we collaborate with a company called Music, we are creating modules set to beats that hit power standards in every grade level in reading and math so that we can build background knowledge and engagement in our scholars. Shai mentioned martial arts as a character development trait, but we also consider it a form of enrichment because many of our scholars would not have access to martial arts otherwise. And last but not least, we intend to execute a fully functioning brain lab in which scholars have access to multisensory technology and furniture to increase engagement and to build mental acuity. So, our proposed instructional calendar will be either the end of July or beginning of August through June. And in order to have the curriculum that we intend to execute, we are proposing an extended day. The school day would start at 7:15. That would be breakfast for the scholars. The actual meeting of the minds or the community element would not begin until 7:40, and the school day would end at 4:50.
We're certainly training our young people to learn to invest in their community, and the investment from the community will be a staple of our success as well. We're proud of many of our partners and excited about the potential for other partnerships once we learn where we're going to be. Some of those partnerships, Dr. Winwinger and his program, Project Renaissance. Again, Dr. Winger is one of the leading researchers in the entire world around accelerated learning, creative thought, creative theory. Levelton Martial Arts College is one of the premier martial arts organizations, certainly in the region and in the city, especially when it comes to leadership and youth development. The John Maxwell team, as I mentioned before, and then we have conversations with universities to help us build that teacher pipeline.
So we are held accountable by the Office of Education Innovation with academic goals. This slide is showing one of our main academic goals, which is based on the NWEA MAP test. In year one, at least 50% of our students will exceed the spring growth target in reading. The other goals have not been set yet because we do not believe that we should set goals on a school that we don't know the data yet. So those goals will be revised, but the rationale is 50% of students will exceed because we are an accelerated school. We know we have lofty goals, but we have the vision and the passion to execute them and deliver for you guys. We want this so bad. We want to do great things for the children of Indianapolis, and we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us, and we hope that we get to partner with you and ignite Indy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Arnold?
Do you have existing schools already in Indianapolis?
We don't. We used to work for a high-performing charter network, but we don't work for them anymore.
Commissioner O'Connor?
I think similar question because you made reference to your iRead scores and others. Where was that school?
At Tinley.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just be frank, and this has nothing to do with my educational sort of experience. It's my sort of corporate governance thing. The co-leader issue concerns me just from a governance model because people sometimes disagree, and there will be key issues. I'm not asking you to address that today. It's just know that that's a concern of mine. And then are there models that you can reference where you've had co-leaders of equal decision-making authority and it's worked? I'd like to know a little bit about that.
So as far as our leadership model, we've had the benefit of working with one another for a number of years. And so there's a chemistry that you wouldn't just get if you put two people in a room and said, you guys are going to do a co-leadership model. And we are opposite. And there's a lot of benefit in the contrast of that opposition. But when we disagree, or if we disagree, we have a phenomenal board that helps us to settle matters as well. And at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, and in the middle of the day, it's about what's best for the children.
I've been married for 20 years this past October, and while we may call each other co-leaders at my house, I want to make reference that I'm not really the leader at my house, and it seems to run pretty well that way.
Commissioner Arnold?
What grades would the school be? Do you start and add grades, or tell me a little bit about that?
In our charter proposal, which our charter was approved last week, we have a K through 3 slow start where we would add on a grade each year until we were a K through 6, although we are prepared to be a restart if that's what your board believes is best for kids.
Commissioner Cosby?
Do you have a desired side of town, a preference? Have you looked at buildings? Where are you on the process?
Wherever the need is, we prefer the west side. That would be our preference, but wherever we are able to go, we'll happily go.
I just want to share a concern with, I hear you and I value your statement that you believe in human capital, but your plan is really ambitious. Human capital takes a lot of money. And for a K-3 startup, I don't know that, I don't know that I saw a jive between a K-3 and the number of staff, especially given the fact that you're really heavy at the top, okay? 2 leaders, a lot of supports at the top, which I again value, but those things come with the cost.
That's a legitimate concern. I want to preface this with saying that Shai and I have worked very lean in our previous work where we were the only two administrators in the whole building of a K through 4. So we know that if in the event we need to cut positions, we can work lean. We're confident, and we know positions that we will cut if need be, if we need to trim down the fat, if we don't have the enrollment numbers that we need.
Commissioner O'Connor.
One follow-up question I meant to ask the first time. On your sort of one set early release day, is it like a Wednesday? Is it going to be a set day, or will it be a rotating day?
It would be a set day. We're debating on the day right now. It'll probably either be a Wednesday or a Friday.
Commissioner Bentley.
On the, if you were awarded the opportunity to do a restart of a school, would you be, I mean, I don't know how we've structurally set those up, but would you be willing to take over an entire school, or would it just have to be the first few grades, or how would that work?
We could do that. That's something we've talked about, and we're willing to do that.
Okay, all right.
Commissioner Cosby.
Sorry, I have one follow-up. So on your early dismissal day, I mean, my concern would be for parents and transportation. So what time would dismissal be? How would you accommodate parents who would have trouble getting out of work, making the trip, or, avoiding, latchkey kids every, one afternoon a week or whatever? So could you speak to that a little bit, please?
Sure. So dismissal would be around noon, and we would offer childcare. And then we would have to be strategic about if we had leftover scholars, which we've had this experience where we'd have to be strategic about rotating our teachers to provide supervision for those scholars that haven't been picked up or that don't take the bus home.
Is the child care free?
Go ahead.
That's something that we need to go back and revisit and consider. But like I said, if there were scholars left in our building, we would be strategic about having our staff supervise until their parents came to pick them up.
This is also a benefit once we know where we're going to be, to engage community partners in that effort as well.
Commissioner Arnold.
On your current success page, where you talk about the success you've achieved, what's that based on, if you have? Is that from when you were at Tinley?
Yes, we were co-principals together for the last 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
As part of our final presentation, we have the team from Avondale Middle Academy come forward.
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time this evening to listen to my proposal. My name is Crystal Westerhouse, and I will be the founding principal of Avondale Meadows Middle School. I wanted to tell you that I'm very excited to be pursuing the partnership between Avondale Meadows and IPS. First, I want to tell you a little bit about Avondale Meadows Academy, because we will be expanding our elementary school, which is currently Avondale Meadows Academy. Avondale Meadows Academy was a purpose-built community school obligated to serving the children in the Avondale Meadows community in 2006. Each year, Avondale Meadows Academy graduates about 75 fifth graders, and each year our families come back to us with sharing with us their struggles in finding a middle school that fits their student. Based off these demands of our families, we are opening the middle school. We were not planning to open up a middle school, but every single year our families come back and are asking for us to do this work. The mission of Avondale's Middle School is to provide a rigorous and relevant program, college prep program for our scholars. We believe that each child can succeed at high levels, and we just need to work together as a school family. And I want to emphasize the word family because that's a big part of our model, to make sure that our students meet and exceed academic expectations. Our proposal is to replicate our elementary school success, but serve grades 6 through 8. We are having a small school model. We have a small school, elementary school model, and we want to continue that in the middle school. And we are interested in the former IPS 11 building because of its close proximity to our elementary school. This slide shows our enrollment growth plan. We would like to open in July of 2017 with 125 scholars of 6th and 7th graders, and then grow to year 2 to a total of 250, and then year 3, max capacity of 300 students with 100 students at each grade level. Our current success, Avondale Meadows Academy is very proud of our A grade according to the state's accountability system for the past 3 consecutive years. Our teacher retention rate is above 85%, and our admin team at the elementary school is made up of 3 founding teachers, so I think that's really strong, shows that the teacher to leadership pipeline that we have going on for our staff. AMA has over 30 community partners that are committed to our families. And one of our strongest partnerships is with the Avondale YMCA. They give us before care, after care, and in the summer, their programs are held in our facility. We have the capacity to expand. We have a strong board of directors. Our chair is one of the founding members of our board. In addition, we have several members on our board who have been with us for the past 10 years since we opened in 2006. Current school leadership, myself, I'm currently in an innovation fellowship where I'm learning and being supported to create a school design that would be best beneficial for our students. And a pipeline of strong teachers. I told you already about our 85% or above teacher retention rate, but we are also able to take some of our elementary school teachers with that K-6 license and make them lead teachers in our middle school. And we feel really excited about that opportunity to continue to grow our teachers. Our educational model, we will continue to use the Core Knowledge Program. Core Knowledge Program is a program that we've been using, a model that we've been using in humanities, and it gives students an equitable base of knowledge where they have thematic units that just prepare them for what they will be facing in high school and in college. We've had success with this program, and that is why we are deciding to continue with it. We also want to have an accelerated math curriculum. We believe that our students are prepared to take pre-algebra in the 7th grade and algebra in the 8th grade, which will allow them to go to competitive high schools here in the city. We would like to continue with the reading workshop. Our students in middle school will all be reading the same text, but we will pull them into small groups and make sure that they're getting differentiation and small group attention. We will have an advisory block period, and in that period, we will have our middle schoolers take self-assessment so they can be aware of their strengths. We think it's very important for middle school students to be aware of what their strengths are and what they bring to a team. We're going to call our classrooms families so they have a sense of belonging in the school. We don't want them looking outside of school for finding a place to belong. We want them to know they belong right there in our school. We will have a family focus, as I spoke of earlier. We will call our whole entire school a family. Each class will be a family, and they will have a family name. We will also have a family resource center inside of our school, and currently we have a parent advisory group which is based off the surveys that we send out to our current families and our past families, and we will use their input and meet monthly, starting next month in December, to get their input when developing our school. We will have weekly academic and culture competitions, friendly competitions, that will get the students motivated to and reinforce positive behaviors and behavioral and academic expectations that we want to hold them accountable for. Our instructional day will be pretty standard. Students will be departmentalized, or teachers will be departmentalized, and so students will have the same schedule each day. They'll have an elective every day, and they'll have that advisory period every day. School will start at 8 a.m. and end around 3:30. This is a similar structure to our elementary school. We may stagger the start and end just slightly for transportation purposes, but it's the same setup as we have at Avondale Meadows Academy currently. On Fridays, we will dismiss at 1:30 for professional development and for the teachers to be able to analyze the data. This is already going on at our elementary school, and so we are just going to continue this at our middle school. In terms of our school calendar, we're also going to model the calendar we already have set in place at Avondale Meadows Academy. Something neat about our calendar, I feel, and it's best for our students, is that we have a fall and spring intersession for students. That's a week where we have students who are really struggling and they get smaller instruction and one-on-one assistance to make sure that they're getting every opportunity to get caught up. And that's been quite successful over the past few years. Our academic goals are ambitious, but we think they're right aligned with where our students are coming from, our 5th graders currently. So for year 1, our goals are that 75% or more of our students will meet or exceed their NWA growth goal. And then year 2, it increases to 80%. And by year 3, our goal is for 85% of our students to meet or exceed that mark. Our staffing model is small. We have a small school model, and so we will start out with a principal, myself, an AP of academics, and a counselor, 3 6th grade teachers, 2 7th grade teachers, and 1 elective teacher. We would like for our students to have more options for electives, but we know that we're starting out small, so we're starting with 1 elective teacher. And that elective will depend on hiring and who is most qualified to work with our students, because we also believe that you have to have the right people on the bus. And then the model will grow. The administration will stay the same, but the teachers will grow, and we will hopefully add more elective teachers each year. Thank you so much for this opportunity to present to you this evening. I really appreciate this, and I'm looking forward to partnering and all the opportunities it could bring.
Sorry, Commissioner Cosby.
So how many, if every one of your 5th graders matriculated out of AMA into your middle school, how many is that? And then how many seats does that leave for new students to join you at the middle school?
Absolutely, and I meant to share this. So we currently have about 75 5th graders. We sent a survey home at the end of last school year to make sure that our parents were still on board for this idea. 90% of those parents said that we would be on board for sending our 5th graders to your middle school. So that would leave that 10% gap of seats that we need to fill. In addition to that, with the 6th and 7th grade model, we would need 7th graders. And so we sent a survey out to our former families, and 80% of those families responded about 2 weeks ago and said they would be interested, so we would have seats to still fill.
But at capacity, you're at 100 per grade level, so we're looking at possibly like 25 kids from
a classroom
outside of that are not matriculating through.
If we continue to move at that rate, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, the next section is Section 7, Unfinished Business. There's one item 7.01 in this section is related to a policy proposal. You have the materials before you. We request that commissioners approve a proposed board policy 6225 as presented. Commissioners had an opportunity to previously review the proposed policy.
Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 7725 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next section for this evening, Section 8, New Business. The first item in New Business, item 8.01. It is the proposed renewal of our Teach for America agreement to bring forth candidates in the district to fill vacancies. Request that commissioners approve the proposed agreement as presented.
Do I have a motion to approve the agreement as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner Cosby?
So, my positionality on this is that I went through a master's degree program that was to make me a teacher. So it's very similar to TFA, but it's not TFA. I've voted yes on this in previous years and no, and I just want to explain briefly why it's a quandary for me. The quandary is that we have vacancies now, okay? So we have classrooms in the district right now without a teacher. And TFA does fill that void, okay? And I acknowledge that, and that's very important. However, the quandary for me is that these young people are coming in with 5 or 6 weeks of training, okay? And for me, that is, in many instances, problematic that we are putting young folks in front of classrooms that are ill-prepared to deal with the challenges of teaching in an urban district like IPS. And so I say all that to say, what is the long-term solution to this problem of teacher shortages? TFA is a Band-Aid that we keep looking to every year. It's a stopgap measure, but I would like to hear more about, growing teachers in other ways. And so Dr. Fairby, if somebody is prepared to speak to that, I'd like to hear about a long-term solution.
Yeah, we're happy to present our strategies. We have a number of strategies. One that I am really excited about is developing teachers within the district by tapping into our classified employee pool for those that are interested in earning their credentials to become teachers and serve our students in that capacity. Have many partnerships with higher ed institutions here locally that provide a robust pipeline of candidates for the district. We are one of the premier districts that host teachers who are in pre-service programs that do their student teachers in the district, and have done much more work to ensure that those student teachers actually remain in the district. But we can follow up and provide a more detailed presentation on many of those strategies. I don't know if Ms. Schlegel would like to follow up. Anything that I missed that you'd like to highlight?
No, I think the only other thing I'd add is that we've had 2 consecutive meetings with all of our higher ed partners, specifically to address sort of their teacher shortage issues, our challenges around diversity of their candidate graduates, and their preparation. So we've been working on some proposed partnerships with additional universities, thinking really deeply about developing a residency program potentially to launch next fall, and getting some letters of interest from universities who are interested in that. So we're definitely working towards multiple pathways of sources of teachers as everyone struggles with the shortages that we all face across the state.
My only follow-up to that would be that, I'm evidence that people can transition into education and stick around, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are we supporting our new TFA teachers, though? When I joined the district as a person with 6 weeks of experience, I had a mentor teacher. Is that still going on?
That is, and frankly, the nice thing and part of the price tag of Teach for America is that they get additional support that normal new teachers to the district do not receive. So Teach for America provides that support, works with principals. They're getting the support from their transition teaching program, both in coursework and then in supervising teacher. And then they do get the same mentors that any new teacher gets across the district. And that's also supported by a position that's fairly new to the district, which is our new teacher induction coach. And she sort of coordinates a lot of that support.
Is there any compensation to serving as a mentor teacher?
I don't believe that there is, but we're working on some teacher leadership roles around that.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Bentley?
I wanted to just do a follow-up question because I think that is one of the challenges. I think TFA is a great organization, and I think it does bring a lot of people to teaching that might not otherwise be in teaching. I think a lot of those TFA teachers end up staying in teaching. But one of the things they do get, and I wish we could figure out a way we could create something that provides that kind of support. They get a lot of support from the organization, and obviously, we're paying for that as part of our agreement with them. But if we can figure out a way to get to the point where we can provide some additional support to our beginning teachers as well. I know it's all about the price tag, obviously, but I think that's one of the criticisms that I've heard is, they get all this additional support, but a new teacher into the district doesn't get as much. And so, trying to figure out how we can sort of boost that network. And the networking, I think, is huge with Teach for America. They network with each other, they provide support to each other, and figuring out how we can set up that structure for all of our teachers, but specifically the new teachers coming into the district.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next action item is 8.02, which includes the proposed term sheet to enter an agreement for Enroll Indy in partnership with other charter providers through the Mayor's Office of Education and Innovation in the Indiana Charter School Board. It's important to note that the proposed term sheet was amended from the agenda review session on Monday, November 14th to reflect the participation requirements by level, elementary and secondary, being K-8 and 9-12, as brought forward by Commissioner Bentley. Ask that commissioners approve the term sheet as presented.
I have a motion to
So
approve
moved.
the agreement. Any discussion?
I'll second that before the discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries.
The next item is item 8.03, which is a request for sale of surplus property, more specifically the College Avenue doubles. It's important to note that revenue from the sales will go towards scholarships as outlined in the donation of this property to the district. We ask that commissioners approve the sale of surplus property as presented for item 8.03.
Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 7726 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I would like to recuse myself from this vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next agenda item is 8.04. It's also a real estate item. We ask that commissioners approve the proposed agreement to transfer property as relates to School 97, located at 1401 East 10th Street. We request that commissioner approve the resolution number 7727 as presented in accordance with this agreement.
Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 7727 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Commissioner Cosby?
Can I get just in one sentence, like what's the intended purpose or what's the repurposing of the building? I regret that I missed Monday. It's right down the street, so I'm just really curious and glad that, frankly glad that it's going to be put to use of some sort. But
David Rosenberg, Operations Officer. The intention is senior adult living in that location.
Okay, very good. That's great to hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it is a lease, correct? They're not,
It is an operating agreement, so we still have the underlying ownership of the building.
The discussion, I will also recuse myself on this item. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
The next item is item 8.05.
Item 8.05 presents an updated digital copyright license agreement with Indianapolis-Marion County Public Library to facilitate the recently approved 3.1 grant from the Lilly Endowment to digitize and preserve Indianapolis history, including much of the archives and records of IPS. We thank both the Lilly Endowment and our partners at the Indy Public Library for their support for this important work. Do I have a motion to approve the agreement as presented?
So moved.
second.
Any discussion?
I know we talked about this on Monday, but I just think this is really exciting, and it was $3.1 million grant.
I'm sorry.
You missed the million part.
Oh, I missed the million. Okay.
And so, yeah, huge thank you to Lilly Endowment in the library, and Zach Mulholland, who's been working on this as well. I think this is a very exciting project.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
The next item is 8.06.
Item 8.06 is an approval of the superintendent performance compensation for the 2015-16 school year. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 5257 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'd like to make a few comments. We've just recently had news of some dips in our ISTEP scores, and those dips are not unusual for what has happened around the state and in this area as well. We have had some preliminary better news on our A to F measures of growth, looking at measures of growth for the district. So I just want to note that the strategies that we're engaged in as a district are long-term strategies, and we don't expect quick fixes. We do expect fixes, and we look forward to watching the continued growth of our students over time. And with that, are there any other comments? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Farabee.
Thank you.
Does any commissioner wish to offer any closing comments this evening? Okay, thank you. Dr. Farabee, you again.
Thank you, commissioners.
Oh, sorry, did you?
I was just going to, you're probably going to mention, I just want to wish everybody good luck on the showcase schools and urge everyone to attend,
Yes.
which I'm sure you're going to do too.
Thank you. Yes, I will. I had the opportunity to partner with Radio 1 and our opportunity to be on 96.3 this afternoon. And we've hit the radio waves and sent messages to families. And we're excited about this coming Saturday, which is our third annual Showcase of Schools. Really special this year to have the event at the Indiana State Museum and opportunities for families to enjoy not only this Indiana State Museum, but also the Idle George at no cost. Just a reminder, it is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's free parking for families, and this is the launch of our choice application process. And it's really important, particularly this year, for families to come learn more, because we have changed our logic to increase diversity in our programs and want to ensure that all of our families have an opportunity to understand our offerings. We have also been very strategic in engaging families that have typically not participated in the choice process, and so we want to ensure that they come out and learn more. Parking is free, as I mentioned earlier. We have efforts, a way to remove any transportation barriers, so remind individuals that would like to come and worried about transportation, call our service center, 317-226-4000. We offer free shuttles from John Marshall Community High School. We also offer shuttles from the Newcomers program as well on the west side. So again, please reach out. We also have vouchers for Indigo that provides transportation to our families. For second language families, we also have translations. So if you need support with translation, please know that we have individuals on staff that will be available to provide that support. We have student performances. We always enjoy our students performing. Had a pleasure this afternoon to go on Fox 59 with Fanton Stinger, who is co-sponsoring, along with Fox 59, a digital safety forum, which is a much-needed conversation around how parents and guardians can be more engaged with safety with digital devices, knowing that many of our young people have mobile devices or cell phones that often lead to inappropriate interaction between students and adults. So again, excited about having that information session there. We will also have Radio 1 and Radio Latino on site. We have free flu shots, and just a great opportunity for families to learn more about the district. So thank you, Commissioner O'Connor, for that great pass that you gave me this evening. We'll be a little longer this evening, Commissioners, because I also do want to speak to the ISTEP release as well. We had an opportunity to communicate with principals. They're very clear and targeted in their communication to families. Also had an opportunity to release a statement that went to our principals and local media as well that I'd like to share this evening. And it reads, school districts across Indiana, including IPS, experience a dip in ISTEP proficiency results. IPS declines range from 2.5 to 5.4 percentage points, which is comparable to nearby school districts. Due to various inconsistencies in the transition time needed for new state standards and assessments in recent years, IPS has joined districts statewide in raising concerns with IDOE leaders and the State Board of Education about the proficiency outcomes that were released today. Our community should not become discouraged by the latest data release, as these results do not reflect the progress that we see in our schools daily and our schools are making. In fact, we received today preliminary A through F data, which is another piece to our accountability system that affirms the level of student growth that we are seeing in our schools, which is a powerful result of our instructional strategies that are being implemented in our classroom daily. We are proud of our schools that are gaining ground despite many obstacles, and we remain, I repeat, we remain committed to our long-term strategy of empowering our school leaders and our staff to make site-based decisions that they know work best for their school communities. It's also important to note, again, that the proficiency data release is just one of the many pieces to the accountability model. There's our growth data, which we believe, again, is more reflective of how we measure student progress. With our growth data, we're able to monitor whether or not students are realizing our expectation that every student grows a year annually. We're also engaged into whether or not students that are above proficiency are gaining growth each year. We want to ensure that all of our students, whether they're above or below grade level, are growing each year annually. It's also important to note that the district's preliminary letter grade for 2016 is an improvement from the projected 2015 performance in absence of the whole harmless policy. Again, we believe that growth is a strong indicator of success across the district, and we see that in the results that we receive. We look forward to release of that data along with other accountability indicators such as graduation rate and IRE data. I had the pleasure of having lunch last Friday at the Colonel's Cupboard in my visit to Arsenal Technical High School. Just a reminder that Friday, the campus is open for lunch, and it is very low cost and affordable and very tasty as well. So I encourage our community to come out and support our students. I believe it's open on Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. And it's a great way to interact with students, but also enjoy an amazing meal. So again, I encourage individuals that have not had opportunity to have lunch at the Colonel's Cupboard to please do so. Again, appreciate all of the support from our partners for the showcase on Saturday, and we look forward to enjoying that experience. We also have the pleasure to partner with the Urban League and enroll Indy to launch our School Finder. We will have a launch event on tomorrow during the lunch hour. So those conclude my comments for the evening.
Thank you, Dr. Farabee. Our next regular meeting will be our agenda review session on Tuesday, December 13th at 6 p.m. To all of our students and staff, I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving and comes back ready to finish the year strong. Having completed all items on the agenda, the meeting is adjourned.